Current Texas National Bank PPP borrower, you'll receive an email with the application from Texas National Bank. If you are a first-time PPP loan applicant or have an existing PPP loan with another financial institution and would like to apply with Texas National Bank, please visit the Texas National Bank website at www.texasnational.com to apply and for more information. With 7 locations from Mercedes to Mission, we are here to help you. Make sure you stay up to date by following Texas National Bank on Facebook. Texas National Bank. We are friendly. Texas National Bank is a member of FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutoMall.com. You're listening to 710 KURV. From the R Communications Broadcast Center in McAllen, Texas, this is a Sergio Show special.
Isn't that special?
PPP RGV Round 2. An economic stimulus update.
We got a real special treat for you guys tonight.
This Sergio Show special is powered by Texas National Bank. Here's Sergio Sanchez.
Appreciate you tuning in. I'm Sergio Sanchez, the PPP RGV News Special, presented by Texas National Bank. If you have any questions, you're in small business. Producer Fred is taking your calls off air. He'll write down those questions and lob them my way at 800-580-8255. Evil Radio Genius Zach Cantu behind the scenes. He's posting us on Facebook Live, taking care of the online product. So you can also post a question there. And if Zach sees a good question, he'll lob it my way via text message. I'll see it instantaneously. We are broadcasting, simulcasting this PPP RGV News Special for you in small business. Also simulcasting on Classic 92.7 for Brownsville, South Padre, and Harlingen, all our Cameron County family. And also, you can join us at 710 KURV Facebook Live. Our guest, to answer your questions, we'll talk about PPP Round 2, which I always ask, is it Round 2? Because I know there was like a pause, and then we re-upped it again. And anyway, we can debate that here in a second. My guest today, Angela Burton, is with the Small Business Administration Office here in South Texas. Also, Esmeralda Villarreal, good to have her back. She's the president and CEO at the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, and an old friend I have not seen in a while, and he's now at Texas National Bank. Michael Williamson, executive vice president, and he's responsible for commercial lending over at Texas National. Folks, welcome to the program. Let's set the stage. Ms. Angela Burton up first. Tell me about the SBA office here in South Texas. Describe the services you provide, Angie, and to how big is the region that you provide services to?
Well, good morning, Sergio, and thank you for inviting me to participate on your show. The SBA's Lower Rio Grande Valley District is in Harlingen, and we do have a branch office in Corpus. The district actually covers 14 of the 254 counties in the state of Texas and serves approximately 180,000 small firms. So we cover as far south as Cameron County, as far west as Zapata, and as far north as Aransas County. We, are obviously the SBA's main goal is to support small business through our entrepreneurial education programs, our access to capital, and obviously our various federal contracting programs, certification programs. Our SBA
spot, Angie, but
I'm sorry.
You said 180,000 small firms in the region that is served. I'm curious, just as you talk with folks who are in the front lines of business. 180,000 small firms. How many of those have survived this nasty COVID season that's almost a year old now?
Honestly, I don't have those numbers, but I can tell you that with our various relief and recovery programs, I have heard from a variety of small businesses that they have been able to maintain and survive during the pandemic. And in some cases, some businesses have been able to thrive. So our staff has been very, very busy in the past few months, working with all the small businesses. We're fielding phone calls from lenders and borrowers about our funding programs, as well as participating on webinars, meetings with the community, state and federal officials. So I think that we probably have had some small businesses drop off, but at the same time, we've had a lot of small businesses thrive.
10-4. And we appreciate you providing us all the information today, Angela. Miss Angela Burton with the SBA office here in South Texas. Let me head over and introduce Esmeralda Esme Villarreal, President CEO at the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. And I know you're always talking with small business in the Brownsville area, Esme. Ballpark figure, what would you say, Esme? How small business, how has it weathered the storm? Would you say we've shut down a quarter, God forbid, a third of small businesses in the area? What are local retailers and local businesses telling you there at the Chamber in Brownsville?
Well, good morning, Sergio, and good morning to everyone. It's always a great pleasure to be part of this type of discussion. And before I begin, I do want to publicly thank Angela Burton and the team at SBA. They've been an asset to the success and sustainability of our businesses in the area, not just Brownsville, but the region and all those 14 counties. We've had the privilege to work with Angela and everyone at her office, and it is with their help that we have been able to reach our businesses. Previously in another past program with Sergio, we discussed about how the Brownsville Chamber has been partnering during these past 9 months with other community partners. With that said, we were able to host a COVID-19 rapid response small business assistance program. Through these efforts in collaboration with Angela and her great team, BCIC, which is the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, and the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, of course, with the support of the City of Brownsville, we were able to invest a total of over 9,000 hours in this program. We were able to do and conduct a little over 13,000 calls, and we were close in reaching almost 1,000 businesses. Through the data collected, we actually were able to identify that 274 businesses were able to apply and were recipients of the PPP. And in addition, some were able to receive both. So we do know that from the data collected, over 100 businesses were able to actually receive PPP and the EIDL loan. We do know of businesses that closed during this process, but with that in mind, Sergio, we do know that because of these actual funds given, some, not all, were actually able to reopen for business. A lot that has also helped for the reopening of the businesses is the fact that not now, though, of course, with the restrictions in place, but at one point we were able to open, for business to the state at a 75% capacity. As we all know, due to the increase of COVID-19 cases in the region, we had to base, on the orders of our Governor Abbott, and of course, with the guidance of Judge Eddie Trevino and our Mayor Trey Mendez, our businesses were down to 50% capacity. So with that in mind, that also limits the growth, right, of these businesses. We do know that out of the 909 businesses, we did not exceed over 100 businesses that closed during this period. I do want to be very realistic that it doesn't mean that it will not close in the near future simply because of the limitations in place now. Mm-hmm. But we do know that many of them, like Angela mentioned as well, they reinvented themselves and they've actually conduct businesses in different ways. So in the area, again, Brownsville cannot do it by itself, but through collaborations at a regional level, we have been able to support these businesses either just with the education of these loans available and or any other initiative.
That's Esme Villarreal, President, CEO, Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. You're listening to a payroll protection program, RGV, PPP RGV news special, News Talk 710 KURV. We're simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM for South Padre. Also, the online broadcast at News Talk 710 KURV, Facebook Live. You can post a comment there. Zach will send that over to me. You can also call in any question you have about PPP loans. Right now, we're doing this this entire hour. The talk line 800-580-TALK, 800-580-8255. Producer Fred will answer the phone call, get the question. Michael Williamson, Executive Vice President, Commercial Lending. He's based out in Edinburgh. He's with the Texas National Bank. It's been a while, Mike. How you been? It's good to see you again, at least online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope your family's doing well. I hope everybody at our family at KURV 710 is doing well, has not been affected by COVID.
We're still here, brother.
Thank God.
We're still here kicking and screaming, and they're going to have to take us out kicking and screaming as well. Tell me your background, because in interviews I've done with you in the past, your roots in international trade and manufacturing, and then into lending. Tell folks a little bit about your experience and your knowledge of South Texas business.
My friend, you've got a wonderful memory. I appreciate you remember those my roots and so forth. I started out in international manufacturing over 25 years ago with the Maquila programs. I've been in banking for a little over 17 years and have found a beautiful home here at Texas National Bank. Great community bank that has deep roots. The bank is over 100 years old, started out in Mercedes, Texas. We're celebrating 100 years, and it's an incredible way to celebrate by us being involved in a PPP program like this. Unfortunately, this has happened to us. It's happened to all of us in the aspect of last year and this year. But let me tell you something. When they say we're the friendly community bank, we are definitely the friendly community bank. As everybody during PPP, during the coronavirus, our transition to technology has been astronomical. I think we're normal folks in a community and an economy would do in 10 years, we've done it in 1. And with that technology, we've been able to continue, sometimes with our doors closed, sometimes with our doors open, been able to via online or via Zoom or via DocuSign, continue operations. And especially in the PPP, the PPP last year, as we all know, the federal government, they really hit a home run, and they came to our aid. Unfortunately, having to close the economy due to coronavirus, but they were there to relieve small businesses, the moms and dads, the community companies that are out there every day. And they released, of course, the CARES Act in April of 2020. It was the first round of PPP. It was a big relief package. Part of it was the Paycheck Protection Program. If any of your listeners, and you have some incredible listeners, some educated listeners, if any of those listeners have over the last 12 to 14 months asked themselves, man, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I'm not sure how I'm going to get through this. Then PPP may be an opportunity for you. So I definitely recommend you give us a call at Texas National Bank, give the chamber a call, give the Small Business Association a call. They can direct you to your bank facility or to, of course, to Texas National Bank, where they'd be able to provide you and help you and see if you're eligible for the PPP program process.
And for, one of the more consistent questions that gets repeated, either email or folks checking in, is how much of the PPP loan process can be done remotely? Can it be done all remotely, or do they need to go in somewhere and get it done?
No, absolutely. We do incredible things. I get home and my kids could be on their phone talking to somebody in China. The technology is just incredible. And banking and in the industry, banking industry has really taken that approach. The PPP loan process. If you would like to apply for a PPP, you can go out to www.texasnationalbank.com. And there's an icon there that says PPP round 2, because of course we're in round 2 now, started in January this year. And there's 2 icons right after that, first time and second time. You click on that, takes you to a DocuSign document. And everyone's very familiar with DocuSign these days. They can fill out the application, they can attach their documents, and they hit submit. And it goes right to the bank in a database. If you already have, for example, it's second time PPP, and you already have a representative, a lender, someone who's been helping you through this process last year, it'll be assigned back to them. If it's a first time, then it'll be assigned to a new lender. We have an incredible staff here of very qualified, experienced lenders. One of the most beautiful things about Texas National Bank is our staff is so experienced. Number 1, they're friendly. Number 2, they're extremely experienced, and they get the job done. And we're really working for you, working in different banking environments. This community bank has their, como dicen en español, tenemos la camisa puesta. We have the shirt on. And I think that shirt a lot of times says PPP. And so we're here to help in any way we can. Online, the individuals, the borrowers do not have to come into the bank. Right. Once the documents are ready to sign, because it is a loan transaction, that is forgivable, of course, in the future, as long as you meet certain requirements. Those documents are sent to you online, all through email. They sign the document, and the funds are then transferred into their account. So in some situations, I may have a phone call with somebody for maybe 30 minutes, an hour, talk to them over this period, and to know them very well online or on the phone, but I never meet them in person, just due to the fact that they don't want to risk themselves in the community with this COVID situation still so.
And everything that you mentioned, Mike, that's where folks who bank at Texas National or their new customers, right? Those options available to everybody, right?
Absolutely. One of the things with the PPP, if you have conducted a PPP round one with a facility, and for whatever bank, and for whatever reason that the second round you've met Michael Williams, and you say, hey, Mike, I'll send my PPP over to you. That's not a problem at all. That's not a problem. If you did PPP with one bank before, and you can do your second PPP with anybody else.
I think you started answering the second question. I need to go back to the SBA. Angela Burton takes care of our South Texas office for the Small Business Administration. And let me go in that direction, Miss Angela. And see, here's another question that came in. If a small business borrowed, got a PPP loan last year, can they get another one here in round two?
Absolutely. However, there are certain requirements that they have to meet to be eligible for that. Let's see. They have to have followed the guidance, obviously, on the forgiveness of the first PPP. They have to have at least suffered a 25% reduction in gross sales, and they have to be at 300 employees or less. Yeah. So yes.
Okay, so long as they adhere to the requirements of the first go around.
Yes.
And they can re-up a second time.
They are eligible. Yes.
22 minutes after the Freddie, I know time is and Freddie's fielding calls, and yeah, let's quick break, make sure we get the proper mention. The time is 9:22. This is a PPP RGV News Special, News Talk 710 KURV simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM. You can also join us online, News Talk 710 KURV Facebook Live. You can post a question. Thanks for the calls, questions coming in. 800-580-8255. If you are in small business, if you're managing a small business, the Payroll Protection Program, it was re-upped on January 13th. It's up and running. Applications being accepted. Any questions about PPP, those business loans, you got to call those in right now. 800-580-8255. A big thank you to Ms. Angela Burton from Small Business Administration, Esme Villarreal from our Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, and Michael Williamson with Commercial Lending at Texas National Bank. Today's program is made possible by the good folks at Texas National Bank.
PPP Round 2 is here, and Texas National Bank is here to help. Texas National Bank has received the final guidance from the Small Business Administration on the second round of PPP and is ready to accept your applications. If you're a current Texas National Bank PPP borrower, you'll receive an email with the application from Texas National Bank. If you are a first-time PPP loan applicant or have an existing PPP loan with another financial institution and would like to apply with Texas National Bank, please visit the Texas National Bank website at www.texasnational.com to apply and for more information. With 7 locations from Mercedes to Mission, we are here to help you. Make sure you stay up to date by following Texas National Bank on Facebook. Texas National Bank. We are friendly. Texas National Bank is a member of FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Your calls and comments and special guests. The Drive Home, weekday afternoons at 4. News Talk 710 KURV.
Time is 9:25. This is News Talk 710 KURV. KURV programming simulcasting for this special hour of news coverage on Classic 92.7 FM, South Padre Island, Brownsville, Harlingen, or Cameron County family. Your call's welcome about the PPP loan right now, 800-580-8255. Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, Michael Williamson from Texas National Bank, and Angela Burton from the Small Business Administration. Miss Angela, back to you. Round two, a Paycheck Protection Program. So let's look at its size. How's it going so far?
It's going very well. As most folks know or may not know, there were $284 billion authorized in the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2021, signed into law on December 27th. So it expands on the original PPP goals of providing loans to businesses for payroll and other costs to help those businesses remain viable and allow their employees to pay their bills. The PPP is off to a great start. It opened for round one and round two on the 19th for all first and second draw loan applications. I'm sorry. The SBA remains committed to keeping small business workers on payroll. And just a couple of days ago, we announced approximately 60,000 PPP loan applications submitted by nearly 3,000 lenders nationwide. The first draw PPP loans are for those borrowers who have not received a PPP loan before August 8th, 2020. The first two PP rounds opened between March and August of 2020 were historic. Success helping 5.2 million small businesses keep 51 million American workers employed. And I do want to say, in my district, we had approximately 20,000 PPP loans for about $1.6 billion. The second draw PPP loans are for eligible small businesses with 300 employees or less, and that have previously received a first draw PPP loan. These borrowers will have to use or had used the full amount of their first draw loan only for authorized uses and demonstrate at least a 25% reduction in gross sales between two comparable quarters of 2019 and 2020. Just so you know, the maximum amount of second draw PPP loan is $2 million. And then I just want to throw out there too that the Paycheck Protection Program will remain, for first and second draw, will remain open only until March 31st or until the appropriated funds are exhausted. So we do have a deadline we're working with of March 31st, 2021. So I encourage borrowers to contact their lenders immediately to discuss eligibility and the application. And if you don't have a lender, obviously we'll be able to help you find one. We do have an online tool called Lender Match, which folks can get on our website. Okay. And use that tool to find a lender for a PPP loan.
Like you mentioned last year when we had the PPP conversation, it's a list, right? Like a directory of the local lenders that are participating with PPP. That's what you're offering on the SBA website, right?
Well, it is a list, but there's also a tool that if you enter some information, it shoots it out to lenders that are participating, and those lenders will have the ability to either opt in or opt out. Okay. To help that business.
Ballpark figure, Ms. Angela Burton, a Small Business Administration. How many local lenders are available participating in PPP? You have any idea?
No, I mean that since the program, I do have to say that our community lenders have been very strong. They were very strong in the first round. And so I publicly want to thank our community lenders. But because you can basically, there's so many different types of lending out there, and you don't necessarily have to receive a PPP loan from a local lender. It's hard to say, but I can say, or I would love to say that, and give a big shout out to our local community lenders that really stepped up during the first round of PPP.
Local banks have done yeoman's work trying to protect local business. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Ms. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration. Let me take just a quick break. A mention to our underwriter for today. That's Texas National Bank, one of the many local participants helping out local business to stay afloat during this COVID season. I'm going to come back. I got questions for Mr. Williamson, Michael Williamson over at Texas National. Also, Esme Villarreal. We're going to talk about businesses reinventing themselves, just some of the stories that she's heard and how businesses are reinventing themselves in Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley. And do you qualify for a PPP loan? Like, what type of business are you in that you may qualify for this? The rules have changed. I think they've expanded the type of businesses that qualify for this. And Ms. Angela's going to share that with us. Coming up, this is a PPP RGV news special on News Talk 710 KURV, simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM for all our Cameron County family. KURV broadcast, 7:10 a.m. We broadcast in Cameron County. It was just, we got the luxury of doing FM style. So there you go. We're loving Cameron County even more today. We're doing FM style. Post your questions as well at News Talk 710 KURV or our Facebook Live broadcast. Today's special program made possible by Texas National Bank.
PPP Round 2 is here, and Texas National Bank is here to help. Texas National Bank has received the final guidance from the Small Business Administration on the second round of PPP and is ready to accept your applications. If you're a current Texas National Bank PPP borrower, you'll receive an email with the application from Texas National Bank. If you are a first-time PPP loan applicant or have an existing PPP loan with another financial institution and would like to apply with Texas National Bank, please visit the Texas National Bank website at www.texasnational.com to apply and for more information. With 7 locations from Mercedes to Mission, we are here to help you. Make sure you stay up to date by following Texas National Bank on Facebook. Texas National Bank. We are friendly. Texas National Bank is a member of FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Real products are tested for safety. Protect yourself. Visit ncpc.org/go4real. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. President Biden today plans to sign executive orders related to the coronavirus pandemic. One aims to develop and distribute more rapid tests for the virus.
The president will expand the Defense Production Act to increase the supply of personal protective gear and sign an order increasing federal reimbursement to states and tribes from 75% to 100% of the cost for National Guard personnel, emergency supplies, and the personnel and equipment needed to create vaccination centers. Another order aims to reopen the majority of K-8 schools within 100 days.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Former President Trump did not attend the Biden inauguration or ever welcome him to the White House. President Biden says he did keep up with one tradition.
President wrote a very generous letter. It's because it was private. I will not talk about it until I talk to him, but it was generous.
Leaving a letter behind started with President Reagan's note to George H.W. Bush in 1981. America's listening to Fox News.
Broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutoMall.com. You're listening to 710 KURV.
Time is 9:34. This hour's going quick. We got so much to talk about. I appreciate you guys reaching out. The talk line is 800-580-TALK. This is News Talk 710 KURV. I'm Sergio Sanchez. This is a KURV news special to focus the Payroll Protection Program, PPP RGV, simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM, South Padre Island for all our family in Cameron County. Our guest today, Michael Williamson, Texas National Bank. There are underwriters for today's program. Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, President and CEO. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration. You mentioned earlier, Ms. Esme, over at the Chamber, that you notice local businesses reinventing themselves. Tell me just maybe a couple examples and maybe share with us how, maybe the Chamber's helping out with that process.
Sure. So, it is no secret that the city of Brownsville is one of the least connected cities in the nation. With that said, our municipality, our city, and with other 7 great entities in Bronzeville are working to assist businesses and really allow them to connect and have a better service. With that said, we have been able to support these efforts and have really, through the actual program that we just finalized December 31st of this past year, we were able to connect to these businesses and conduct surveys to better understand the needs of the businesses. Some of the findings are that some of these businesses, many of them, of course, being a high percentage of small businesses, they did not have a contingency plan. They did not have the ability to connect or were not aware of the social media platforms that they could utilize for free. And this is where they come and reinvent themselves. We've actually even had businesses stop by that unfortunately were not able to submit a loan through their homes or, through, and as we all nowadays have a smartphone, they weren't able to access that. So that we were able to actually assist them and refer by SBA to help them with processing or uploading information. So I mentioned this because it is important that, with the information received, that our businesses have been able to be part of over 25 webinars that we have conducted, not just with our great friends at the SBA, but with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce through the Association for the Chamber of Commerce at a national level, of course, at a state level. And this is where, and it sounds repetitive, but this is where everyone became more resilient and everyone really depended on the help of the others. So we've seen how businesses have reinvented themselves, not just, oh, welcome to our business, but it's more like, hey, well, follow me on social media. Now I have a social media, or we have smaller businesses working together, promoting their other product, right? So we see now a restaurant trying to promote a bar, or we have a bar now working with a restaurant, and hey, I'll walk to your business and drop it off. Yeah. And or now they have TikToks. Who knew about TikTok? TikTok is huge, right? And so now we see them dancing, we see them selling their product. Social media, everyone was so afraid of speaking or having these type of conversations. And now we see entrepreneurs that, God, they have the ability to speak better than anyone in front of cameras after 9 months doing it so often. And they're not afraid or shy to really ask for help. So I think that's key to the sustainability of these businesses. Businesses are helping each other more than ever. Businesses are not competing against each other. Businesses know the need of helping and extending a helping hand because of the actual ability to help our own community to be employed. So there's a lot of
businesses reinventing themselves. And it sounds to me, talking with you, Esme Villarreal, over at the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, and with Steve over here at McAllen, Steve Elanius, you guys at the chambers reinventing yourselves too, in your webinars, seminars, and the topic is conversation with local business to get everybody on the same page and try to stay afloat. You're listening to a PPP RGV News Special, News Talk 710 KURV, simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM, also online, Facebook Live, 710 KURV. Michael Williamson, Executive Vice President, Commercial Lending at Texas National Bank. There are underwriters for today's special program. Mike, is it too late in the process? Is it too late, like, for a business who acquired a PPP loan last year to convert it into a grant, or what can you explain about that process?
When we talk about the grant, I'm going to assume that you're talking about the forgiveness process.
Where they met all the requirements and all that. Has that deadline come and gone?
No, sir, not at all. Not at all. You have a covered period. Number one, when you receive the initial PPP request, and you receive those funds, it was either from the time that you actually received the money or the time that you started to use the money. You had 8 to 24 weeks to use that, depending on what kind of covered period you wanted. The forgiveness process right now is underway. A matter of fact, yesterday, thank goodness, the federal government came out and they provided a short form for any loan under $150,000 for forgiveness. Many folks were discussing how complicated, you would say, and it can be a little bit of a cumbersome process for the aspect of having to put your paperwork together and so forth and submit it for forgiveness. So the federal government was just very considerate in the aspect of coming out with a short form for loans for forgiveness under $150,000. It's a one-page form, very limited amount of information on it, and they can submit that. which is a great tool for loans being asked for forgiveness under $150,000. If I can real quick, Sergio, we talked about the IT and the impact of technology and so forth. One of the main focuses for me and for many of us in the banking industry and many of our borrowers is that forgiveness aspect of things. And in round 2 of the forgiveness, of course, we know that some of the rules of what you can spend the money on expanded. And that was fantastic. Initially, in April of 2020, they came out with the idea that you had to spend 75% of the money's on payroll. And the other portion of the funds could be used on utility expenses, mortgage, etc. Very limited. They've expanded it. The next step they did, they took that payroll to 60%. So the minimum has to be spent on as 60%. Well, round 2 is the same, but I believe, and from reading all of the guidance, due to the fact that so many folks have had to reinvent themselves, so many folks have had to go into the IT sector to just keep their doors open. Many of them have their doors closed, like restaurants. They have their doors closed, but then people come in and they go onto their app and they go ahead and order their food, and the individual goes and takes the food out to them. Without technology, that wouldn't be there. Well, there's a cost to that technology. And one of the covered expenses in round 2 PPP, or let's say for first time and second time, but one of the covered expenses is your software, business software, or even iCloud computing services that has facilitated the business's operations. And that's fantastic. So if you have a restaurant that had to put a little bit more money into, let's say, sharpening up their Facebook or their ordering platform, those expenses can be used against or for the forgiveness portion of the loan. So, there's like I mentioned in the onset, if you at any time, if you have a business and you have thought to yourself, how am I going to get through these times? I've had to spend so much money, a little bit extra money here, a little bit extra money to keep up, just keep my doors open, which so many small businesses have and had to do. I sincerely recommend you reach out to your bank, and especially Texas National Bank at www.texasnationalbank.com. It's an extremely easy process. Just go to the PPP round 2, either first or second, and feel free to walk into one of our branches. Our branches are wide open. We hope that we're taking every precaution that we can to protect our clients and protect ourselves when it comes to COVID. But we're here. If I need to, you call me and you say, Mike, can you meet me out in the parking lot? I'll be glad to go out to the parking lot with a mask and visit with you. That's how serious Texas National Bank is about.
Can you bring
process.
some of those mints and breath mints that you remember?
We don't have to worry about that on Zoom, do we?
A couple of very important questions. Michael Williamson, Executive Vice President Lending with Texas National Bank. Our guests include Esme Villarreal, Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, and Ms. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration, who we need to get to here in just a minute. But real quick, you mentioned the metrics that the company needs to meet in order to qualify to convert this loan. That is still at what, 1% interest if it stays at a loan, but they would like to convert it into a grant. You mentioned one of the key metrics is retention of employees. Okay, after almost a year of COVID, retention of employees based on what date, Mike? Like January of last year, or how does all that work in this crazy environment? Because you probably have some businesses might be showing up for the first time and saying, I'd like to do the PPP thing. I didn't do it last year, but I need it now. Okay, so based on employee retention on which payroll? 2018, 19, 20, you know?
Well, one of the aspects of this and the second round requirements or guidelines, you can actually use your 2019 information or your 2020 information. And what I'd like to either or, yes, sir. Okay. 2019 financial data or your 2020 financial data. And the most important thing I would have to say here is Serge, is there are methodologies in the guidance for specific companies. So if you're sole proprietorship, you're an entrepreneur, you're an independent contractor, you're filing a Schedule C, you're an LLC corporation, and that is what our lenders have been trained and are following that guidance. And of course, the chamber can give you some guidance there. The SBA can give you some guidance there. but the lenders themselves are the ones who have gone over the program and can help explain to any of our borrowers. Now, one of the things that's very important is we're finding out that you may have about, let's say 60% of the borrowers that fall into a certain category, and they need their 2019 or their 2020 financial information. They need their 941s. This is for employees that work for a company, and that company is requesting from the federal government through this loan program that if you use the funds in a certain way that meet the requirements of forgiveness, is 100% forgiven. It is a loan product. So the banks are involved in this because the SBA reached out and said the way to get this to the public in the most efficient way is to use the banks. And it's been an incredible partnership, and it's an incredible partnership that's just going to flourish, I think, with this, and the communication between the SBA and the banks is just going to be fantastic, as it always has been with the local SBAs.
Let me get on the soapbox and commentary. Had the folks in health done the way the SBA and lenders in banking, I think they would have distributed the vaccine, much like West Virginia. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Go look up. State of West Virginia worked with local pharmacies and local providers. They didn't go the national route for CVS and Walgreens. Nothing against, I'm not slamming them. I'm just saying they went local. Hey, look at that. West Virginia leads the nation in distribution of vaccines compared to the rest of the country. That's the difference. You work with the local lenders. They're taking care of local business. That's Michael Williamson. The quick answer to the second question, Mike, and then I'm going to lob it over to Miss Angela Burton, the Small Business Administration. Thanks to Rick. If denied, what's the backup plan? Like, is there recourse, a review where we can get a second opinion, reconsider it, or do they have to go in a different direction if denied for PPP?
If denied, there are only a few items that would make it. We don't say denied. I look at it and the guidance says eligible or ineligible. If you're not eligible if you're ineligible for one of the requirements or one of the situations that they specify in the guidance, then we will be glad to revisit, and we completely explain the process and why the person is not eligible. And then I would have to, in my opinion, in the industry, the banking industry, direct them directly to the SBA, because the SBA has many other products that may be and facilitate their particular needs. And
to that, I'll ask Ms. Angela if she can take us in that direction. First up, though, as I promised, Ms. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration, South Texas. I told folks that you'd be explaining how the SBA, how I guess this program, round 2 of the PPP, has expanded the type of businesses that qualify for the PPP loan, if you care to share that with us.
Yes, of course. So the expansion from the first draw PPP eligibility has made me very happy because there are 4 distinct areas that they're expanding to. One is housing cooperatives, as well as destination marketing organizations. But the one that makes me the most happy is certain 501c6 organizations, such as chambers of commerce. Through all of this, I've worked very closely with the chambers of commerce and importantly with the Brownsville Chamber. That chamber reached out to us very early on in the process, and we've been great partners. But knowing that they're eligible to apply for a PPP makes me very happy. So 501c6 organizations such as chambers or even economic development organizations, and then eligible news organizations. And then I also want to, make sure that people remember that eligible businesses such as partnerships, corporations, LLCs are eligible, sole proprietors, and one of the biggest ones that I want to push is independent contractors. If you're an independent contractor, please apply for a PPP. Self-employed individuals, 501c nonprofits. I've had several of them contact me and have been very successful and have been able to continue with their processes and helping the communities through their nonprofit organizations. 501c19, veteran organizations, and then tribal businesses. Regardless, though, all businesses must comply with size standards, eligibility criteria, and then certain limitations. The other thing, if I can, real quickly, is Mike mentioned forgiveness and an expansion of some of the coverage. And he did talk about the business software, business-related cloud computing. But I think one of the other important, there's actually 3 more areas, but one of the most important ones is those forgiveness can be used for covered worker protection expenses, including operating or capital expenses required to comply with requirements or guidance issued by CDC, HHS, or OSHA, or any other state or local governments beginning March 1st. So if you've had to spend extra,
Miss Angie, it would be, for example, all the plexiglass we had to put up at businesses all over the place, right?
Yes, anything that is a requirement issued or for safety purposes, it could be masks or whatever. Yes, that is now covered on the forgiveness. And then also supplier costs, suppliers that are essential to operations and made pursuant to contract or order in effect at any time before the covered period with respect to perishable goods. I'm very happy that they've expanded the business eligibility as well as the forgiveness side of it. And again, 60% must go to payroll, where the other 40% could go to those covered expenses, in addition to payroll, rent, mortgage interest, utilities, which is, I think is going to be very, very helpful for small businesses.
That's Angela Burton. She's with the Small Business Administration, and along with Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce and Michael Williamson from Texas National Bank. You're listening to a PPP RGV News Special. This is Newstalk 710 KURV. We're talking about the payroll protection program that re-upped on the 13th. That's last week, and we're up and running again. And if you're in small business, you need a business loan, please talk with your local banker like Texas National Bank and start that process. I'm going to come back with Ms. Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber. Her organization, like similar organizations in South Texas, usually are the first ones to get the call from membership or ex-memberships. Oh, you love me now, right? You're coming back, ask some questions. Or other small business that just seek out the Chamber of Commerce for help. The more common questions that small businesses are asking, we'll see what Ms. Esme has to say from the Brownsville Chamber. Join us if you have any questions. We're running out of time real quick. In fact, I'm even tempted to go on over it into the next hour, just a little bit after it's my show, right? It's my show, not the drive home. In case my friends here really need to get this information out there. We want to benefit you, the moneymakers, the shakers and the moneymakers of South Texas, making payroll, paying taxes, and quite frankly, keeping me on the radio. 800-580-8255. Any questions for producer Fred right now? 800-580-8255. Simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM, live on Facebook via Zoom at Newstalk 710 KURV Facebook. This is Newstalk 710 KURV, today's special program made possible by Texas National Bank.
PPP Round 2 is here, and Texas National Bank is here to help. Texas National Bank has received the final guidance from the Small Business Administration on the second round of PPP and is ready to accept your applications. If you're a current Texas National Bank PPP borrower, you'll receive an email with the application from Texas National Bank. If you are a first-time PPP loan applicant or have an existing PPP loan with another financial institution and would like to apply with Texas National Bank, please visit the Texas National Bank website at www.texasnational.com to apply and for more information. With 7 locations from Mercedes to Mission, we are here to help you. Make sure you stay up to date by following Texas National Bank on Facebook. Texas National Bank. We are friendly. Texas National Bank is a member of FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
Got about 5 minutes left in this hour. This is Newstalk 710 KURV PPP RGV News Special. Simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM. Live on Facebook, Newstalk 710 KURV Facebook Live. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration. Michael Williamson, Texas National Bank. And Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. As a frontline business information center, Ms. Esme, maybe share with me a couple of the more common questions that you get related to PPP or anything else that small businesses are facing in this COVID season.
Absolutely. So when we started, we as an organization, we have never closed one single day since the pandemic. As any other businesses, we were exposed at one point, right, to COVID. And we had to, as you mentioned, Sergio, we had to reinvent ourselves as well and adapt to the new time. So we started doing rotational shifts. We have, agents working from home and team members, but the calls never stopped. Calls were thousands and thousands of calls received.
Goodness.
And we heard from business owners, specifically our small business owners. And I'll be very honest with you, it is something that was not taken lightly in any way, shape, or form. This really impacted us as an organization, also personally. We've heard our business owners cry. We've heard our business owners ask us, what do I do now? Tell me, you chamber, tell me, do we close? Do we keep going? And it has been a very difficult time for us as an organization, as we represent and we're the voice for the business community. With that, we've also taken the responsibility to do more by educating the businesses of what's available out there, any type of resources, not just from our great friends at SBA, but local or regional, state, whatever that may be. So with that said, many of the things that actually were common conversations with these businesses was, do I close my business? Do I pay the light bill or do I pay the mortgage? How many employees do I have to let go? And one of the most saddest things that we've also realized through the process is that these small business owners utilize all their savings, their life savings, and actually invested their savings into their business. Unfortunately, even through those savings, they were not able to remain open for business. In fact, I just gathered some data that my team was able to give me while you guys were speaking. And out of the 920 kept on going businesses registered, through BCIC's portal and assisting them with information, we do have that, up to now, we've had 23, and that's December last year, 23 businesses only, but keep in mind that we've yet to reach to all the businesses. So 23 businesses were closed. Out of those, 19 were just temporarily closed because of the actual restrictions in place due to the capacity, of course, in the location. But for now, we've only heard of 4 that were permanently closed. I do want to be very honest. That doesn't mean that that's actually the reality of our businesses. That was just during these calls. There's a lot of work that needs to get done through the local chamber, and I do very quickly want to thank our great leaders of all the chambers through the region. Sergio Contreras at the RGB Partnership, the president and CEO, he was continuously pushing our legislators as well. And every chamber individually wrote letters to our legislators. And that actually helped us be able to, stress the importance of supporting the 501c6. So again, Sergio, there's still a lot of need within our business community. We have a lot of work to do and we cannot do it alone. We highly depend on partnerships like with the SBA and everyone else. But I think it's key that the city, every individual municipality has a responsibility with their business community. And of course, it directly impacts economic development, its growth and job creation. So there's a lot of factors and everyone plays a very important role. But most importantly, I highly stress for everyone to support their businesses by a drive-through, by a curbside pickup, by just sharing a post or just going. There's a lot that we individually can do. We do have a social responsibility. So again, we, the chamber here, as all of my other colleagues and friends throughout the Valley and the great state of Texas, we have heard our businesses suffer and they still do.
Esme Villarreal, Brownsville Chamber of Commerce President and CEO. It is now 10 o'clock. And typical, as my producer would say, Sergio, He always goes over. Well, we got a real important show right now. Gang, if y'all need to go because you have a 10 o'clock meeting, I understand. We're going to tell Freddie, tell the program director, tell that bullheaded program director, we're going over for a few minutes. Okay. Well, I'm the program director. Oh, okay. That's fine. We're going to go over just a few minutes and get in here what small businesses need to know from Mike Williamson, Angela Burton, and Ms. Esme Villarreal. 10 more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. This is News Talk 710 KURV. This is KURV Edinburgh. Stay on the FM station for Cameron County. This is PPP RGV Special News Program. Talk line 800-580-8255. Ms. Angela Burton, Small Business Administration. Back to you real quick. And linking and circling back to a question from one of the callers. What was the language, Mike? You said, if they don't qualify for PPP, what's plan B? And Ms. Angela, what resources can you offer?
Okay, so the SBA actually has a variety of funding programs depending on what your needs are. But I do want to make sure folks know that we have resources, no cost resources available on free advising and counseling. We have SCORE mentors. We have the University of Texas RDV Small Business Development Center advisors. And even if you're a veteran in the area, we have the UTRDV Veterans Business Outreach Center. And so they are all advising via phone or video conference. We also have a lot of virtual trainings. And the SBA has a wide variety of online learning. So if you're having an issue with your application or there is something that you need, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or any of these organizations to provide the advising or the counseling you may need to help you get your any of your applications current. I know that also the Brownsville Chamber has folks that will help you. But again, depending on your situation, we could have micro lenders that might be able to help you. We have other financial programs. So it's all looking at your situation and where we can guide you and help you in making sure that you're successful as a small business. And then real quick, I just want to thank Michael Williams and Esme and you, Sergio, because you guys have been such wonderful advocates for the small business community. And again, it goes back to such a collaborative effort in supporting all small business and making sure that our valley and our district in South Texas is successful.
The Paycheck Protection Program deadline for this round, Ms. Angela, is?
March 31st.
Okay, put that on the calendar. Michael, back to you, and a big thank you to Mr. Q and all the family over at Texas National. Happy birthday and congratulations on your 100th anniversary over at Texas National. Mike, let's squeeze in here. Let's get in real quick. Something that I did not ask you want small businesses to know right now as we re-up PPP.
What I'd like everybody to know, and I think it goes back to the question that I had, or a statement that I stated earlier. If you have asked yourself in the last 12 to 14 months, how am I going to continue? How is the COVID has burdened me with additional costs? Has burdened my gross receipts have been reduced. What do I do? I think PPP, the SBA is definitely an answer. And I have to say that Texas National Bank, due to an incredible website that we have positioned, www.texasnational.com, 2 or 3 clicks, you fill out the document and you submit. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. And that's the process. We wanted to allow that process to be simple for you. And I think the SBA and I think the federal government has done a great job providing this tool for us to use in order for these funds to get immediately into your hands. From the time you fill out the application, within a few days, we'll have it with a lender. A few days after that, you'll have your documents. And a few days after that, after it's processed to the SBA and the SBA approves it, it must be approved by the SBA. And then we provide documents and then we provide funding. So from the time that you place your application in the system, you may be funded within 5 to 7 days. I mean, it's a quick process. We have created we have done an exceptional job, and you go back to happy birthday to the bank and to Q and so forth. Fantastic direction, fantastic leadership in the aspect of pivoting on this, because we're going this direction, and all of a sudden COVID hits us, and all of a sudden we team up with SBA, we team up with the chambers, and now we're completely, and everybody in the country and in the world's going a different direction. And so how do we provide that? We do it through, please visit by telephone, walk into one of our branches, by email, our website. We have created an efficient and effective process that's really seamless for our borrowers, first time and second time borrowers. Please, we will help you walk through the forgiveness process too, as we get closer to that aspect. So this is just a unique opportunity and a unique situation that's facing our country. I think we're all working together, and please consider Texas National Bank as a friend and someone that can help you through this.
10-4, and on today, National Hug Day, Mike, you be sure to see Mr. Quiroga from a distance. Say hi to Mr. Q. And give him,
I don't hug him very much. We don't hug each other.
Okay,
We'll wave to each other, of course, but there's no hugging. I haven't hugged anybody except my family in a long time.
That's fine. It's COVID-19. That's the way we're supposed to do things. And by the way, if you all didn't know this, you know, when you guys go to a famous gasoline station that has like a really nice kitchen in it, and they sell you the Q taco, it was named after Mr. Quiroga, by the way. You didn't know that. Named after Mr. Q. No, it is. I just thought
That's awesome.
Be silly. Let's close the program, Ms. Esme, with you. Final mention to local businesses and try to connect people to the capital and the resources that they need. Ms. Esme Villarreal from the Brownsville Chamber. Go ahead, Esme.
Well, to start, I do want to thank you, Sergio, and everyone, that was part of this panel this morning and discussion. We as an organization, as a local chamber of commerce, we have a responsibility to be the voice and to really assist our businesses, not just through the pandemic, but beyond. And with that said, we encourage everyone to contact their local chambers, being the Brownsville Chamber, McAllen, whatever city you are. Everyone cares in a very genuine way for the sustainability of their businesses. I do encourage to call us at 542-4341. We have a full team now that can assist you with any questions in regards to the PPP or any other questions you may have. We chambers are builders and connectors. If we don't have an answer for your question, we will connect you with a proper organization or business that can assist you. But most importantly, do know that our businesses are not alone. We have great support from the community at a local, at a county, at a state, at a national level. We are here to make sure that your business remains in business. And we, as a member-driven business organization, we cannot do this alone, and we're nothing if we can have our businesses open. So again, this is a very serious matter to all of our chambers, and we do depend on our businesses to be open as well. So anything that impacts the businesses impacts us directly. So if you need any help, again, I stress the importance to just make the call. We are bilingual, binational, bicultural. Do not be shy to call us. We will assist you in English and or Spanish, whatever you feel comfortable with. So with that said, Sergio, once again, thank you for always considering us as a Chamber of Commerce as a resource. And Angela, thank you for all that you do. And of course, Mike, thank you. Everyone truly here understands the importance of our businesses. And it is with the help of each other that we will, move beyond this pandemic.
All great advice. Thank you, Esme. Esme Villarreal, Brownsville Chamber of Commerce President and CEO. A very big thank you to Ms. Angela Burton from the Small Business Administration and Michael Williamson from Texas National Bank. This broadcast, you can go back and listen to it slowly. The video portion of this, it's on News Talk 710 KURV, our Facebook page. We'll close out this broadcast and save it, and that way you guys can go listen. If there's like a little tidbit of information you need to extract from that. Thank you so much for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV and Classic 92.7 FM. This was a PPP RGV News Special 710 KURV.
Stay safe, Sergio. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tired after a long day of working and taking care of the
Bye,
kids?
everyone.
Take the night off and let
Bye,
KFC
Angela.
do the home
Take
cooking
care.
for you. Pick up a
Hey,
$20
Mike,
fill-up today. Order
could you
ahead or
send
use
me
contactless delivery on
send me your
KFC.com.
contact info?
I went to check on Pop.